Hey everyone, so today I thought I would do a bit of a different video. I'm going to do basically a video where I do half my face in high-end makeup and half my face in drugstore or more affordable options for the stuff I'm using on my high-end side. Oh, that confused me. Half high-end, half affordable drugstore. Yeah. So I'm going to jump into it and I'm just going to explain a little bit as I go about each product and all that kind of thing, so I hope you guys enjoy it. So for my base, I'm going to use a couple of my favourite products of all time. L'Oreal Lumi Magique is a really good alternative to the MAC Strobe Cream or even better Strobe Lotion. The L'Oreal Lumi base is a little bit thinner in consistency. This is a little bit thicker and more hydrating, but there also is Strobe Lotion, which is like the same as this. I've gone through like so many of these. I think I've gone through like 3. So I'm just going to basically do a half-half effect. I'm not going to do a line down my face or anything because I mean I want to look presentable for the rest of the day. And then of course on the other side is MAC Strobe Cream. And let me know at the end of this video if you enjoy the idea of this and I can do more because I've got so many more dupes I can show you. So that's the consistency of the Strobe Cream, just a bit thicker. I do find you need a little bit less of the Strobe Cream than the Strobe Liquid. Could be because it's thicker, but it does go a bit further than the Lumi Magique by L'Oreal. But as you can see, the end effect is basically identical, so there you go. Next for foundation, one of my favourite drugstore foundations is this. It's called the Bourjois Happy Light Foundation by Bourjois, like I just said, which is very similar to Vitalumier Aqua by Chanel. And basically the reason for this is they're both owned by the same company, so the formula is probably almost the same, it's just under different brands and different packaging and all that jazz. So first of all, I'll go in on my drugstore side. You can get this from ASOS pretty cheap. This is in the shade number 53 Beige Door. So I'm just using an angled top Exo Beauty brush to kind of stipple that on my face. Now both colours of these foundations is very slightly different, so hopefully it doesn't look crazy. I'm sure we will soon find out. This foundation's really nice and thin, but it still has really good coverage. Really nice and lightweight. It looks a little bit orange on camera, and I don't know why. I promise you it's not. I'm just like looking at my screen right now and it's like orange. And then the Vitalumier Aqua is one of my favourite high-end foundations. It's really nice and lightweight again, really easy to blend, just like the Bourjois one. And my shade is 30 Beige. The formula is very similar. See, this one looks less orange as well. I'm sure this isn't orange. I'm sure it never looked orange before. But actually, like, I don't know how to describe this. On the skin, the appearance of the actual foundation, like the way it settles into your skin and just looks on your skin is almost identical. Both are quite buildable. You can get up to like quite a full medium coverage. Probably not full coverage, but close enough. So that's what it looks like now. As you can see, the colours are slightly different on both sides, but just let's look past that for now. Both of the actual formulas are very similar. Two of my favourite concealers of all time, which I think are very similar. They're not identical dupes, but they do a very similar job. Similar coverage, similar consistency, and similar finish on the skin. So the drugstore one is called the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer. This is really affordable. You can get it at Countdown if you live in New Zealand, or I think you can get it in the UK, correct me if I'm wrong. And then the higher end one, which is one of my favourite concealers of all time as well, Nars Radient Creamy Concealer, and this is in Custard. There's only 2 shades in this, which sucks. I think there's only 2, and I get the darker one. It's called Cool Medium 2. So starting with the low end, I'm just going to pop that under my eyes. And the finish and the coverage is really nice. And then I'm also just going to kind of brighten up a couple areas of my face because this foundation's a little bit too dark for me. This concealer isn't as brightening because I usually use it on my face. I don't really use it to highlight, so excuse that. The shade is in Custard. And then I'm just going to use my foundation brush just to start blending those out. This is probably my favourite, it would be my favourite drugstore priced concealer for sure. It's so good. I used to always hear people raving about it. I was like, can't be that good, but it is pretty good. And then Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer is just beautiful. I love it. Nars might have a slight amount more coverage, and I think I prefer the finish a little bit more, but for the price comparison, like, it doesn't compare. Like, it's crazy. So that's how each looks under my eyes. You can see the higher-end one looks a little bit smoother, I would say. But I mean, for the price, like, this is amazing. You have to try it. By the way, guys, I like highly recommend the high-end products I'm using today as well. I'm not showing you anything I don't like. Under eye setting powder. You guys know how much I love my e.l.f. HD under eye setting powder. I think it's like, I think this is better than any high-end one I've tried. The high-end one I'm going to compare it to is the Laura Mercier Undercover Pot, like the translucent little powder that comes with it, with the concealer. I don't know what it's called. Okay, it's by Laura Mercier. So first off with the e.l.f. This has little tiny glitters in it, and people always say, how do you make it so it doesn't look glittery under your eyes? Because, you know, it has glitter in it. And people don't really want glitter under their eyes. I use a really nice dense brush like this. I usually go for my small tapered face brush. This is the medium tapered face brush, which isn't out yet but will be soon, by XO Beauty. And I just like these natural hair brushes for this because I guess just the density of these brushes, it kind of flicks off the glitter. I don't know how to describe it. Just try a different brush. See if you can find a brush that just kind of chucks off the glitter. I don't know. And then I just like to pat some of that under my eyes. Just a really small amount, don't go overboard. And that just helps to set everything in place so it doesn't crease, and it brightens up your face a little bit. And then the Laura Mercier one is very similar. It's kind of like a really pale beige colour. Like, it doesn't really come off as coloured once you put it on though. But this one doesn't have any glitter. It's got more of like a reflect to it, so it's a lot more fine. But I think I still like my e.l.f. one more just because it's so affordable. So that's the difference. As you can see, the high-end side has a little bit more coverage. But other than that, it's a very similar result. Next is powder, and I've always said this. I have the perfect dupe for the MAC Studio Fix powder. The bad thing about this is the darkest shade. I know, right? This is like my shade and I'm not even that tan or anything. So the shade selection is rubbish, but if you are on the paler side of the scale, then try it out because the formula, the finish, the coverage is identical to the MAC one. So my shade is the dark one. It's called Darkest Brown. Okay. And I just like to tap that on my skin, and that will set the foundation, give you a little bit more coverage, make your makeup last all day long. And it gives your skin a really beautiful finish. I just talked really weird because I like smacked my lip. Really flawless finish. Now for bronzer, on my drugstore side, my affordable option side, I'm using the Chichi Mosaic Bronzer in Dark. And on my high-end side, I'm using the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. These both have a very similar finish and quite a similar colour once on the cheek. So I will now show you. I'm using the angled blush synthetic brush I have from XO Beauty. And you can kind of contour with this brush as well because it's got that tapered edge, so you can like run that along like that. And then the Chichi Mosaic one, I like to just swirl all the shades together, I suppose, and then I'll take the darkest shade to contour normally, but I'll just use them all together for this tutorial. I would say the Too Faced one just goes on, it's a plane. I would say the Too Faced one just goes on a little bit smoother, but nothing you can't solve with a little bit more blending for the Chichi. I still think it's a really good bronzer. So hopefully you can see they basically look practically the same. I'm going to move on to my eye makeup now. I'll do blush and lipstick last. I don't actually have two of the same kind of formulas of eyebrow products, so I'm going to use two completely different things. On my affordable side, I'm going to use my Chichi eyebrow pencil. If you can hear any noises in the background, it's just Louie walking around. And then on my high-end side, I'm going to use my MAC Dirty Blonde brow fluid line. I'm so sorry guys, but I can't find a affordable primer, like just a plain normal primer. So I'm going to use my Smashbox Photo Finish Lid Primer, which is one of my favourites. I also really like the e.l.f. Just plain HD, no not HD, plain lid primer, and then NYX has an HD one which I like. So there are plenty affordable alternatives, I just don't actually physically have any with me right now. I love this eyelid primer. It's one of my favourite ones. So the two eyeshadow palettes I'll be using today is the Naked 3 for my expensive and then the Coastal Scents Revealed 2 palette. So to highlight, I'm going to use that very first shade there. So this is the Naked 3 palette. And then from the Revealed palette, I am using, whoops, that colour just there. It's very similar, but perhaps just a hint more yellow. I'm going to take the colour Limit, which is just like the light matte colour from the Naked 3 palette, and then from the Revealed palette I'm going to be using this colour just there, which is very, very similar to it. So this colour here is Limit, and after I've done this I'm going to put on some tape. Clean brush going into that colour from the Revealed palette. By the way, I'm not trying to do any revolutionary new creative look with this video, I'm just showing you dupes. And I thought it'd be way more interesting doing it like this rather than just like holding up stuff and being like, oh look, it's the same thing. So please no comments saying, oh my god, this looks the exact same as like every other video. Now I'm taking my crappy present tape. If you watched my other video, you'll know what I'm referring to. I'm going to go into the Naked palette with this shade here called Buzz. And from the Revealed palette, I'll be going in with this shimmery pinkish shade just here. This isn't an exact dupe, but it's basically the same kind of thing. And I'm just going to press that on the, I don't know, I guess the lid. And then from the Naked 3, I'm going to take this colour just here. And from this one, I'm going to take that shade just there. I'm going to be popping this just on the other half of the lid where I didn't put that other pink colour. Now I'm going in with a little tapered blender brush. And I'm going to be taking the shade Black Heart, which is like a dark brownish black with red reflect. And then the Revealed palette has this colour here, which is very similar. I'm just going to be putting that on my outer kind of corner and then like into the crease and that kind of thing. I'm going to bring it quite far in. And then going in with a fresh brush, I'm going to take the one from the Revealed. This one isn't as pigmented, but again it's really, really buildable, so you can get there easy enough. Now for gel eyeliner, I have a L'Oreal Super Liner for my drugstore, and then for my high end I've got MAC Black Track. I know some of you hate the ultra dramatic eyeliner, but I just really feel like doing it today. If you're recreating this, feel free not to if you don't like it. And this is now the L'Oreal 24-hour Super Liner. So it's a little bit harder to apply just because it's dried out, but it is really, really good when it's fresh. I've just had this for way too long. So there we go, super dramatic eyeliner. I'm sorry if you don't like that kind of thing. Just don't do it, as I said. I definitely think I still do prefer the Black Track rather than the L'Oreal gel eyeliner just because the formula's a little bit better. But for the price difference, the L'Oreal one is a really, really, really good one to pick up if you don't want to spend lots because it's still really, really good. Now for black eyeliner, I'm going to be using the Chichi black eyeliner and also Makeup Store's Darkest Shadow Eyeliner for my high-end one. And then this is the Chichi. So that is what the eyeliner looks like. I'm not going to smudge this down like normal, I'm just going to leave it as is. So for my high-end side, I'm going to use my favourite mascara of all time. This is the Aqua Skinny Brush Mascara. I don't really have anything super comparable to this, so I'm just going to use a simple mascara on the drugstore side because I do have some favourites from the drugstore. I just don't own them at the moment because I've got so many mascaras already, so I just haven't bothered to repurchase them. I really love CoverGirl Lash Blast. If you want a good drugstore mascara, CoverGirl Lash Blast is amazing. I don't know if you can see how well that works. That's a really awkward angle. Hey. And then on the drugstore side, I'm just going to use my Great Lash because I love this. It's not phenomenal, I just love it for a basic mascara when I just need something to chuck on and don't have to think about it. It's just good. For my lashes, I'm using the Gold Digger. Now for blush, on my high-end side, I'm going to use one of my favourite ones by Makeup Store. It's called Must Have, and it's like a peachy kind of pink colour. And then a dupe for it is the NYX Apricot Blush, except it's a little bit more peachy than Must Have. Plus it has a little bit of shimmer. So I'm going to use two separate sides of the brush so we get the proper colour payoff. Or colour range, I don't know. And then Must Have on the other side of the brush. And then to highlight, I love this Bobbi Brown Shimmer Brick. This is in the shade Bronze and it looks like this. The dupe I have isn't a dupe for all of the colours, but it's close enough for some of them. I actually prefer this. This is the Chichi Face Powder Natural Wall of Shimmer. That very light colour down the bottom, it looks completely different, but it comes off identical on your face. So this is the Chichi side. And then the Bobbi Brown side. So as you can see, the actual colour is so similar. I actually prefer this colour because it's a little bit, probably a little bit peachier, and this one's a little bit more gold, but they both have gold. It's like literally the most minuscule difference. My hair's like crazy because it's been wet and now it's all like kinked to like the shape of my headband. For my low end or drugstore cheap affordable side, I'm going to use Wet n Wild Just Peachy 903C, which looks like that. And then on this side I'm going to be using Babette for my like high-end dupe. The only difference is Babette is a little bit more of a strong pink. The Wet n Wild one's a little bit more nude, but they're very similar as you can see on my lips right now. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video for something a little bit different. Obviously this makeup look isn't anything extraordinary, it's not one of my favourites, but I hope it helped you guys find some good alternatives to some of your expensive favourites, or you know, if you've been wanting to try one of those high-end products, maybe now you can try one of the cheaper products to see how you like it instead and save some cash. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it as I said, and thumbs up if you did. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thanks so much for watching and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. About it, but it's the same with my finger ones. That one on my foot hurt like a biatch. That's what it looks like there. I got the Hourglass Mineral Veil